Attention, Dan, their findings were 25% comes from the north, 75% comes from the west, if I remember right.
And of course, as Mr. Higgins had mentioned as well, the Lake Herman, in those recommendations from the 95, there was limited to no recommendations on improvements from that way. There were the vast majority of the recommended improvements addressed items with the flow coming from the north primary law. If Lake Herman's low, that helps a lot. But when you get such a big event, it'll fill up, and then once it spills, you see what we're having.
I believe we can't do it on our own as a city of Madison. We need a federal partner stepping in. That's why we need score studies. They need us to do that before we're eligible for the funding. Maybe it can be sped up now that we've had this incident.
There are some different funding mechanisms through the Corps and others, of course, but involving the Corps and the partnership study done with Lake County that was started after the 2012 event, they kind of feed into one another. That was a partnership one. This one where the city is anticipating proceeding as a sole partner with the Corps at this time anyway, and that can be used as a recommendation from the Corps. Is that this new one can be looked at, updated, and then the logical next step, once we determine some of the different effectiveness of it and the cost, there's a funding component to the next step that can be pursued. But right now the recommendation is we're working on that with them, the scope of work that just updates some things, looking at these alternatives in 2019 highs. So
Jim, did you have?
Yeah, I want to add to what Tim said about why weren't the creeks mowed this year after I got you guys to buy the mower last year?
They were in places where they could get to it.
Oh, come on, Roy, I know better.
I was there, I saw it.
There's no excuse. That is a side mower. It can mow any side. And if you guys would have drove around right now and look at the creeks, the stuff is that high, and don't think that don't slow water down. Trees in there too. Thanks.
Ashley Allen.
Right. Good evening. I am Ashley Kenneth-Allen, Madison citizen, business owner, lifelong resident of Madison. I'd ask that I'm allowed to make a statement, and you reserve your comments and questions for me until the end of my statement. First of all, I want to say that I'm sad that this commission, especially the mayor, did not open the meeting tonight with thoughts and prayers, condolences, and an update to the situation at the top of the meeting. The agenda could have been amended, and we could have offered a public comment on the situation in Madison. So that's regrettable. I've been coming to this commission since 2009, talking about our budget and pushing for infrastructure first, to prioritize the infrastructure that we need in this town to operate so that all families and businesses can live and thrive and work. The other thing that I've come to do in front of this commission over the years has been about storm readiness and preparedness and public communication. Most recently, when we had tornadoes that ripped through the north side of town and sirens didn't go off and we didn't have proper responses. Last Wednesday night, the flash flood warning came out at 11:30, about there. I don't have the exact time. Weather radios went off. National Weather Service issued a flood warning, said this is what's going to happen over the next 6 hours, be prepared. I put out social media posts on my weather company's social media, warned my family, let everybody know it's about to get crazy because of all the water the night before and what's going to happen now. We're going to flood Madison. Sirens weren't blown, fire department wasn't activated. We didn't even pay attention really until the water started to rise. And we knew what was going to happen. We absolutely knew it was gonna happen. Now, the police department, the sheriff's department have done a fabulous job with their resources. But it's not their job to lead an emergency situation. Now, I know that some of you have been working in the Emergency Operations Center over the last couple days, but there has been little to no communication from this commission or the mayor in public. We have got to fix our public relations. You are the face of the city, and you're expected to come out in front and give statements and lead the way. It is not the sheriff's job, it's not the chief of police's job, it's not the city workers' jobs to do this. Mayor Tenhaken had a tornado on Wednesday in town, and you saw on TV how he got out in front of it and led his community and pulled his departments together and gave status updates on an hourly basis for days. He picked up the phone, he called his media partners. If you don't know how to do that, there are training courses for public relations and public speaking and writing public press releases. We can get this done. We can train everybody on how to handle this. As a public elected official, we need you to step up and lead, to console, to say, I'm sorry, we're working on this. Yes, we're gonna address your concerns. Yes, we're working on this. Yes, we're pulling these people in. Yes, we're going to get county and state and federal authorities in to address these issues. It's not to lean back in our chairs, barely talking to a microphone at a meeting, to follow an agenda, collect a paycheck and go home. It is to lead. We need big solutions. We have big problems. This is millions of dollars, millions, that people are facing loss. It's gonna hurt our businesses. It's destroyed our infrastructure in the city and in the county, and we're gonna have to dig deep for the funding to fix all of this. We're gonna have to beg, borrow, and steal from the state and the federal government to get it done. But this is a time that we need extreme leadership. We need deliberate people who know how to communicate, who know how to handle and manage departments. Now, if you need to put that on your city workers, if you have to put it on your finance officer, your city manager, or your chief of police, or whatever, fine. But the public's watching. The number of comments that I got over the weekend from seeing people out and about, from everybody that's volunteering and doing things, where is the mayor? Where is the city commission? Where are the public statements? Now, a week ago, our Lake County Emergency Management Director was retweeting and resharing things on Facebook about Facebook conspiracies. A week later, we expect him to be able to provide accurate information and use social media correctly. We have to have a set of rules for how we communicate public information, and it needs to be a clear, concise message coming from the top and delineated out to all the departments. And that has to come from you guys, our elected officials. You lead the city workers. The workers do the job, they get paid to do that. But as city officials, it's your job to hold them accountable and make sure that everything is working as it should be. Now, in an emergency, things get crazy. It's understandable. It's a disaster. But you all have to really think, dig deep down inside and wonder and ask yourself, am I able to do this work? Is my heart, my mind, do I have the time to do this? Because the next year is going to be serious. We've got a lot to do. We've got a lot to rebuild. We can't bring Trucia into town looking like this. We can't add 40 new homes in the northeast part of town looking like this. We got entire neighborhoods wiped out. We got infrastructure that needs to be rebuilt, storm sewers, roads. I'm not going to go any further in the infrastructure. You guys know it's a problem. My main thing that I want to get across here is we've got to fix public relations immediately. Roy was on TV more than you were, Marshall.
I had 4 interviews.
Roy was still on TV more than you. You need to have the phone numbers of the TV stations. You should have called them first. You need to have the newspaper and the radio, wall to wall, nonstop. The siren should have been blown. Firemen should have been going door to door at 4 a.m. Hey, check your basement, there's water in there, get your stuff out of there, quick. Do what you can do to save people in an emergency. I don't care if it's a tornado, a blizzard. This past spring, when we had major ice storm and blizzard, there was lots of communication deficits. Whether it was plowing, when it was gonna begin, when was power gonna come back on. We could have used our texting system over the last 3 days to give hourly updates to the citizens of what was going on. Instead, we left it to, maybe we'll put it out over here on this social media site, maybe people are on that one, maybe they'd like this. I don't know if we're gonna put it up on the website, I don't know if we're gonna give it to the radio station, the radio station isn't live 24/7, so maybe if I listen at 7 o'clock, they're on satellite and nobody's providing timely information. You as mayor have to pull together and say, hey, KJAM, could you find the resources to go 24/7? We have a major disaster in Madison. Can we provide hourly updates? Can we do top of the hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes? Paper, can you help us retweet this or put this up? You have to be proactive. Now, the sheriff's department and the police department were putting out good information, and the city departments also did. But again, some of that was not hourly or timely, and people were looking for information. Perfect example is rumors going around town that the spillway was out. One of you could have stepped up immediately, put out a public statement that that was false, but it went on for almost 6 hours before the police department got the video to say, no, this is not true. You have, if you're not proactive, things fester and swell and they get out of control. And so you have to be able to do that as a publicly elected official. So I will end by saying this. If you are not up for the challenge, if you cannot find it in your heart and mind and your own talents to be able to lead in this situation that we are currently in, please resign. Please step down and let's find somebody that can take your position, that is willing to work the 20, 30, 40 hours a week that it's going to take for the next year to get this done. It's going to be a thankless job that doesn't pay you crap. But it has to be done. We have to save our town. Thank you.
I made the same comment. I was working for three days, and there's not one person that come by. And if Annie Jensen hadn't just drove over there, people had just been sitting in there in that water. And like I'm saying, he's disabled. Nobody even knew to go to the house. I mean, how many older people that could have, drowned in their homes? Nobody checked on anybody in our own neighborhood for 3 days. I saw one cop car go by. I was pissed he didn't stop because the neighbors were smoking pot. I had to smell that all day. So I kind of agree with some of what he said, just saying.
Well, what is your guys' answer? You gonna hire some help to get this done, or you just gonna sit there?
Jim, what are you asking about?
I'm asking if you're gonna hire some private contractors to help to get this cleared out of the city. DSU's got a homecoming Saturday. You think it's gonna look pretty?
Oh, they canceled most of
They
it.
canceled homecoming parade, didn't they?
The parade's been canceled.
Okay, but are you still just gonna sit and wait and try to do it?
I don't think so. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We were gonna wait till Wednesday to make sure people had an extra day to get things out. Made a decision to go ahead and start tomorrow removing debris.
I thought they started today, but why didn't you get the tree out of the creek up there then?
I don't know, Jim. I'll look into it.
I appreciate it.
But are we looking into it? Are we gonna be deliberate and decisive and get this done?
Clean the creek.
Somebody else say anything?
Kirby Oaks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Kirby Oaks. I am the senior pastor at Living Hope Church here in town. I'm a relatively new resident to Madison. I've been here just over a year, so I cannot speak to any of the previous votes, administrations, or any of that, so I have no intention to do so. My experience is really just with this past year and this recent disaster. Also recognize my experience of leading people within the church. People are people. Also leading situations within my military service and everything gives me a little bit of expertise and understanding about the challenges you are going through, but also the responsibilities as leaders that we have. one of my personal models is leaders are learners. When you stop learning, you stop leading. And I hope to be a part of that for all of us today in any way I can. In terms, just one of the things that I heard tonight talking about the garbage curb cleanup, it was stated that it's going to continue to go even if they can't get it out to the curb. But there was a public service announcement from the city of Madison that said very clearly, our crews, once crews have been to your area, we will not return. So there is a little bit of a mixed message with those types of things that are concerning to citizens. Within my area, within our church, I've got a lot of parishioners, and including extended parishioners, extended family, and our neighborhood directly. That obviously this is very much of a concern, but the questions we continue to get asked are, where do we go? What do we do? There's been a lot of misunderstanding about the role of the Red Cross, how long they've been here, how long they're going to be here. Are they taking donations? Where do we get donations? A lot of people are being misplaced. They don't know where to go. Our facility is the old Lincoln Elementary School. It is not a great place for people who have been put out from their homes. But it is one of those needs that people are asking for, and frankly, we don't know how to answer them. I don't want to beat a horse, because I truly do understand and respect the role that leaders have. But and some of the messages we've been getting, and I would share it, is we have not really heard a great deal from the city directly. We've heard messages from the police and the county, but if there's an emergency operations center, which I've had the opportunity to serve in both stateside and on deployment, they have a responsibility, both in public relations and public affairs, of communication. And that is one thing that for me, as I lead my people, it's becoming increasingly difficult to do. And wanting to be able to find places for people to go. We're still receiving phone calls, emails, messages of getting help, getting junk out of basements, getting people into a safe place. The 211 phone line was not clear. Some people said they called and it was not helpful. It was not made clear early on that 211 wasn't even an option for us. So that was a bit of a challenge. And so for us, a lot of it just comes down to, if there's an emergency operations center, believe that that should be the command center, and all messages should be coming from us. Respectfully, Mayor, I understand the role you're in, but I haven't heard from you either. And this isn't just this scenario. Like I said, I've only been here for a year. Frankly, I didn't even realize there was a mayoral, an election for a mayor a few months ago. Didn't hear a thing about it. And that was concerning for me as a new resident, that my elected official, I should have had a vote in, and I wasn't aware. So for me, as a leader in this church, but also have to represent the people that I serve in our community, I need to know how to lead them, how to guide them, how to care for them. And it starts with how to get them resources. We canceled all services yesterday and just tried to get people out of their homes. But we're limited with what we can do. So, but I thank you for your time. I appreciate your heart and your ears. Yes, sir.
Pastor, I think I have to ask Chief. I may put you on the spot, but did you feel that you were speaking for the city as in the command center?
Yeah, in the incident command setting, we appointed a public information officer, and that position was utilized for the first, I think, 2 days. We did get extremely busy, and did we hold any press conferences after that? No, we didn't. Our resources were being utilized to work on the sandbagging and things like that, and that's when we went to the social media side of things to continue to push that information out as frequently as we could.
The point is,
I asked
they're
that
not
question.
they're not the face of the government. You are. You are elected officials.
Yes, Mr. Commissioner, what you have to say?
And you are supposed to be the public face, stepping up.
Respectfully, sir, may I have my time with the commission? Thank you
Yes.
very much.
I'm just asking, I'm trying to clarify, that's all, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
That we did have a face of a single point of reference, but
Yes, sir.
from the command center.
Right.
I also agree with you, that I have 2 younger grandsons, I spend every second I can with them. We have one rule, nobody gets left behind. Okay, if somebody gets, one of them gets behind a bike, the other 2 of us wait. Nobody gets left behind. It's on a walk or whatever. No, I'm not trying to be silly here, but no garbage will get left behind. Now, one of the things we had tried to say was that some of the principles of the citywide cleanup will be in place. And one of those is, in the past, has been when we leave a quadrant of the city, we don't come back. And we probably shouldn't have put that in there, okay? Because I have no intention of letting, I'm not sure that I wanted to even start yet retrieving stuff. Because I wanted to make sure that citizens have plenty of time to get everything out of their homes and to the curbside. And if we go to Jackie's house, this is an example, Jackie, and we take stuff away, in 2 days she's got more there, we're gonna come back and get that one way or the other. Whether we do it ourselves or hire somebody to do it, doesn't matter. Nobody gets left behind. Nobody gets ignored. And if we do, call us and we'll get to it. There are certain principles and certain things that we have that we can take and we can't take. But for the
Right.
most part,
I
we
understand.
intend to be there.
I think you're
Okay,
right.
no one will get
Yep.
left behind.
I appreciate that. For me, the confusion and struggle comes in the mixed messages. So if a statement comes out from the city organization and the government or the police and fire,
And if
we've
that
got to
was-
take that as verbatim, that that's what the city's expecting, and that's what I've got to communicate to my people. So if it's not ready to be, the statement's not ready to be made, or if it's going to be expanded upon, that's where the challenge lies for me. To hear you say that, I hear your heart, and I thank you for that. That helps me communicate. But the challenge was the official statement from the city came out, says
And I would, if I
it's
was,
this or
if I was
not.
diligent or diligent on that, I apologize.
Yeah.
I was the
Thank
one
you.
that authorized that.
Within the public face, 2 days within a disaster is honestly, it's kind of inadequate. It should be a daily update of, here's the Red Cross, here's the donation center, if you are misplaced, here's a place to go, here's some food. As a leader in my congregation, we are more than happy to work with the city, to partner with you, to say, how can we help? And as far as I know, there was no reach out to any nonprofits, religious services organizations to say, let's meet. How can we do this together? How can we care for the people of Madison? I know we would have jumped right on board, and I know that most of the ministers that I know, I don't know them all yet, they would have said the same thing. So I want to I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Ministerial Association, which if you don't know, Madison has one, but I can speak on behalf of myself that we are happy to join in whatever we can do as a nonprofit with limited resources, but we're happy to help. Please call us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, that was another thing when he brought that up, because now, like, we haven't had TV or landline or anything since Friday. You know what I mean? So it's like, we didn't even know, I didn't even know some of this stuff until my son Brian called me from Aberdeen saying, he went to the website saying, okay, Mom, we gotta have this stuff out on Tuesday, you gotta find out, he says, because I can't take vacation days, we gotta have somebody here. So I'm just saying that, right now we have TV, but we still don't have a line, I still don't have electricity all through the house, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard when we, you know,
Understand. And we have questions that we have to figure out answers to too. For instance, appliances in the city pickup, in the spring, you know, we don't usually pick up appliances, okay? And we can't put them in our,
yeah, he told me that, he said that electronics, I said, then they can just move
so
around.
we're gonna have to
because I'm not
figure
doing
something
it.
out about how to handle that. But some of the other kinds of things, wet mattresses, rugs, those kind of things, all that kind of stuff that unfortunately will be there. That's the stuff we can get to now, if we have to come back and find some way to deal with old appliances. We'll figure something out. that we're not ignoring it.
Can you tell us the hours that each of you worked in the emergency command center and who was in charge at those times to sign off on the official communications that were coming from the government?
I was.
I'm not gonna comment on what hours and who spent what in there. I don't think that's real important tonight. I will say that there was, operations center was organized. Chief Meyer was the incident commander. And quite honestly, I am very impressed at how the city and the county and multiple agencies, local, state, cross-discipline, police, fire, EMS, private contractors, different people. I'm very impressed by it. So, and you know, as far as like part of the communications that was coming out from the public information officer, if you want to call it that, directly sitting in that EOC. And so, and will we do after action reports? Absolutely. Are there things that could be done better? Absolutely. Are there things that we're documenting and working on? Absolutely. We're working on it today. We're working on it tonight. You know, we had officers that were wading in chest-deep water, helping individuals, helping elderly. We got all kinds of stories. Did we miss some here and there? Or something? I'm sure there's stories on the other side too. I got stories on the other side. I mean, Sunday morning, a Sunday school group of children came in, gave all the officers and the EOC nice thank you cards. Another church group came in, brought food. The food, I mean, not just us at the EOC, but the volunteers around town and in Chester. You have to remember, this is a county-wide event. And the amount of work that's been done between all of them is pretty incredible.
I think we all commend that, and we all, Commissioner Walder, I think all of us know we've pulled together and we've done some amazing things over the last couple of days as a community. I think the sentiment that's being echoed by a number of people here tonight is that communication, the official communication from the city, has been ineffective and not distributed correctly. And you know, for one, I would think that there would be a press release created daily that the mayor signs and says this is the state of our government. The EOC is giving real-time updates. That's different than a state of government. You know, what is happening, right? So it's great to know that this road is out, that road's out, we're sending people here or there. Those statements are coming out from the police and sheriff, and they did phenomenal. We all think that they did phenomenal. But we're talking about what's happening at the top. Who's signing the documentation? The county commission had their declaration out almost instantly. They called a meeting and they got it done. We could have called some special meetings here too to figure out what to do for public relations. I mean, I commend you. I don't know, you know, all of us have either lost stuff ourselves or our families or friends or whatever. We're all affected by this. We're not trying to barrel on, but we need leadership right now. And we need clear, focused communication. And it should go to the top and be vetted out before anything is transmitted or sent out. And it should be signed by the mayor, because you are the head of this government.
And I'll just add, the EOC is still in operation because we still have people in Lake County in harm's way.
You need this, Jim. Okay. Yep. That's it on there. Any announcements? Just a thanks for all of the many, many hours of volunteers and first responders. That's my only announcement. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I've got something to say. Mr. Allen seems to think he has all the answers, and I'm tired of his attitude, probably the same as you commissioners. And I don't mean to be personal, but I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning getting people out of the house, and the EOC called me, and I was in contact with them. And I was in contact with the sheriff. And I've dealt, just like Mr. Meyer, Chief Meyer. We're trained in emergency. I've been an EMT since 1988. I've been on search and rescue when it was going for 28 years. I'm on the ambulance now. These people up here aren't trained for emergencies. Mr. Myers is. Mr. Wahlberg is. EMTs are. Okay? So, yeah, they make mistakes. We make mistakes. We make mistakes. We're on calls. We're on ambulance calls. And we go, shoot, we should have done that different. But we learn from our mistakes. And compassion and support is what will get us through this. You know, there are mistakes. I agree, there's mistakes. But getting the media involved doesn't cure the problem. Calling the television stations, that doesn't solve the problem. What solves the problem is what the officers and the volunteers are doing.
I wouldn't disagree, but we do have to have a
I agree.
clear public relations.
I agree there were mistakes made.
That's, my comments are only to the public relations held by city government. I commend everybody that, everything that's happened over the last 4, 5, 6 days, the volunteers, the workers, all of our paid and unpaid safety workers, everybody.
I agree,
But our elected officials, the buck stops with them, and they have to have a clear public relations strategy.
Exactly, but they were thrown, they weren't.
Okay, that's enough. Well, thank you, Mike. Okay. Being there's no further announcements, do I have a motion to go into executive session? So moved. Second. So we're in